Mercury and Venus. Two hostile worlds that suffered very different fates. One very much alive and seething with treacherous forces of nature. The other, a planetary carcass, gouged by millions of high-velocity impacts. Both demonstrate the true horrors of planets gone wrong. Mercury and Venus, the inner planets. Along with Earth and Mars, Mercury and Venus make up our inner solar system. Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, these planets farthest from the Sun, make up the gaseous outer worlds of the solar system. Over 4 billion years, the inner planets bound enough interstellar debris to become rock solid.
Why do we study planets? Why do we study astronomy at all? We someday need to go beyond the planet Earth if we expect to survive as a species for a very long time. And we need to know what's out there and what the nature of the universe is.
We're studying worlds where things are exotic, but the basic processes of physics and chemistry at work are really the same that we see here on Earth.
Millions of miles separate us from our rocky cousins. But a tour around Venus and Mercury reveals a common DNA.
We can go to Mercury and Venus and really look at these as places, as worlds with their own histories, and then contextualize our own planet's history.
Venus is the 6th largest planet in the solar system. At its closest, it is 26 million miles away from Earth. A year on Venus lasts 225 Earth days. And if you weighed 150 pounds on Earth, you'd weigh 136 on Venus. Venus, when the ancient Romans looked up, they were captivated by its commanding presence. They named the planet after their serene goddess of love and beauty.
It's such a beautiful presence in the sky. It seems obvious the connection there.
Venus has long been considered our sister planet because of its closeness in composition, gravity, density, and size.
Venus and Earth are almost twins in a lot of ways. They're almost the same size. Venus is slightly smaller than Earth. So if Earth was a regulation basketball, Venus is a soccer ball, slightly smaller. And Venus is the closest planet to Earth. So for a long time, it was thought of literally as a twin planet.
For ages, scientists thought this twin, like Earth, was a planet covered with deep oceans, lush rainforests, and had a climate that would give credibility to the notion that intelligent life could exist there.
Before the space age, people thought it might be very Earth-like on Venus. But the paradox is when we actually got to Venus and started exploring it, the conditions there are so different.
It turned out Venus was less of an exotic sister to Earth and more of an evil twin.
So here you have two very similar planets in their sort of bulk properties, but they've evolved to such different states. And that creates an interesting problem in understanding planetary evolution, a sort of controlled experiment. Take these two similar planets and let them go for 4 billion years, and then why do they end up so different?
First, some of the basic differences. Venus has been hit hard with meteors. One so strong that some scientists think it may have reversed the planet's rotation.
Venus has a very slow rotation, and it has what we call a retrograde rotation. So it spins backwards compared to the direction of spin of all the other planets.
Because of this retrograde rotation, the sun rises in the west and sets in the east. And the Venusian days are long ones. The amount of time from one sunrise to the next is about 8 Earth months. But the orbital pattern and long days aren't what make Venus so intolerable. In part, it's the wicked climate. With a surface